How many ramps have you built all the time that you've been doing the ramp building?
About 145 ramps
That's a lot of ramps.
since about, say, 8 years ago. Yeah.
Which one was your biggest one to build?
The biggest one was for a guy by the name of, I think it was Jim Cogron.
Jim Caldron?
Cogron.
Yeah. So how big was that ramp?
That ramp was about 45 feet with about 10 foot of porch.
Wow. How come you built these ramps, Dad? What inspires you?
What inspired me? Well, I think I used to see my dad helping other people, so that's what my dad inspired me to do things for other people.
How did you initially get involved with the veterans? Was it something they asked you to do, or you just decided to do it on your own?
We decided to build it our own after a guy talked to us about ramp building and showing us how to do it. The guy came from Dallas.
And who are some of the guys that help you, Dad? Did you recruit them?
My American Legionnaires, veterans that have served in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines.
Wow. Are there other guys that come out, Dad, or there are other people that come out that are not
There were
veterans?
some high school kids, that one of the rampers had brought to help us, and but I did not want any youngsters anymore because if they would take a handsaw and a chop saw
Oh, yeah.
and cut some fingers or legs off, we didn't. They would talk and they would cut wood. And I did not want that. So
Oh, that is scary, right? Yeah, it's better to be safe, right? Dad, have you received any recognition because of your ramp building?
no,
Not at all.
the only recognition we have is seeing other people. So I was seeing the people we build the ramps for come up and down in the wheelchairs. That's uh, thing enough. Thank yous.
What is the weather like when you're building ramps? What's yeah, hot
The
and
weather
cold?
has to be. It can be cold but dry, and because we use electrical tools and drills, and we'd rather we don't do anything on wet weather.
Sure, that makes sense. Yeah. You're getting ready to build a ramp when you get back home. I know you're visiting right now, but
Yes,
you've got a ramp coming up that you're
on
building.
February the 15th, I believe.
Are you excited about that, Dad?
I'm excited, but my at being 88 years old, you can get excited, but you don't move around fast enough.
Right, right. Yeah. So, who are some of the other people to help that help? Because I think one time you had like lawyers or
They're the
somebody.
only ones, and
Yeah,
at one
the
time I had
veterans.
or rather we had the American Business Clubs, M-Bucks 2, because we have three M-Bucks clubs in Longview. But
Right.
M-Bucks 2 are the ones that help us with money sometimes.
Yeah. So, Dad, I know that you, besides doing this, you've received awards. You've been recognized there in Longview, and obviously here in Houston. But what are some of the awards that you received there in Longview? Longview's Man of the Year, right?
Yes, well, we don't. I've got some awards presented to me when I was a president of the M-Bucks 2 club, and
And
I have so many certificates on the wall, that I've run out of wall already.
I believe it, and well deserved. Dad, you just came back from an amazing trip in Washington. What was that like for you?
It's emotional when we were out there doing, especially the Korean uh, uh, area, and we had some Korean people come by and talk to us, and they were shaking our hands, and some of them were, talking in Korea. Of course, we could tell in their faces that they were glad that we had been there in Korea during the war.
Right, because
But before it was over, we were all crying,
right,
and that
right.
was really emotional.
And
Yes.
what line of duty were you involved in, Dad? The Navy, right?
I was in the Navy, right?
Yeah. What was the name of the ship or the
USS
vessel?
Boxer, carrier vessel
How
21, CV 21.
how old were you when you joined when you boarded the ship?
I was not old enough to know any better, but I joined the Navy at 17.
Were you in high school, Dad?
Was I what?
In high school?
I was in high school and I had been promoted to junior grade, but in July, after we finished classes in May, we went out there to the recruiting office in Brownsville, Texas, and we signed up for the Navy.
So this was during the Korean War?
Ma'am?
During the Korean War?
Yes?
Yeah. What
Yes.
what year was that, Dad, that you
Well, I joined in 1948, but it was a year and a half that we got involved with the Korean conflict.
right? So when you went to Washington, that's why the people, the Korean people, went up and they gave their thanks,
Yeah,
right, to you. Yeah, yeah.
sure.
That would have been. Yeah, I know that had to have been very emotional.
Hmm.
Yeah, plus a way of saying saluting you guys. Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you, Dad, for this opportunity to speak
Thank
with
you.
you. I love you, Dad.
I love you too, Hito.